We're rolling when you want to get started.
Okay, I'm at InfoSec 2024 with Amichai from NoKod Security. Hi Amichai, thank you for spending time with me to have a chat today. It's really good.
Thank you for the opportunity, Chris.
No problem. First and foremost, NoKod Security. I kind of know what NoKod is, low code and no code, but what is NoKod Security and what challenges are you trying to solve?
So we're trying to solve the challenge of reintroducing application security into no-code and low-code development environment. So while organizations have everything in place to secure standard software development processes, they have nothing in place in terms of processes or tools to solve the same problem with low-code, no-code development.
Wow, that's really interesting. So what are some of the common things you see that are really bad in kind of no-code and low-code things?
Everything that we had in applications 10 years ago, we see again in no-code, low-code application. That's authentication bypass, authorization bypass, data leakage problems, SQL injection, HTML injection, everything that we had in standard applications 10 years ago, we're seeing now in low-code, no-code development.
I think a certain degree of overprivilege as well, you know, kind of assigning kind of way too much access and privilege to these processes that are invoking low-code and no-code things as well, right?
We also see that, but even before that, the choices that the citizen developers are making, being unaware of the security consequences, are such that make them create applications that just expose enterprise data to attackers.
Wow, that's really good. And I think often kind of the thing that's amazing about no code and low code is the thing that is making it insecure without kind of being able to think about it, that it's easy to implement and easy to do, so people just do stuff without necessarily realizing some of the consequences.
It's a great technology. It brings exciting new opportunities to organizations, but it also creates some security challenges. And the citizen developers are just not aware of them. Quite honestly, they will never be fully aware of them because they are all around the organization, different departments, different business units, different mindsets, and different roles. They are not software engineers. Security is not their main concern. Their concern is making HR work better, making the finance move smoother, making payroll processing move better. And they use automations, they use low code to make their job easier, better, and they forget about security sometimes.
Absolutely, they want to answer the question, does it work, as opposed to, does it work securely?
Exactly, which was always the question with software. But when you have standard software processes created and executed by professional software engineers, you could educate them and train them to care about security. When the same software development process, or actually much shorter processes, are executed by thousands of people across your organization, good luck with educating them.
Absolutely. I've been asking people at this show around being able to knit together different systems and the power of integrating things. And I think, you know, that's kind of pointless really asking you the question as to whether or not that's something that happens because your software is built on the fact that people do that. But I find it quite interesting that those integrations need to be secured, and kind of what you're bringing to the market really kind of underlines that need there.
Exactly, it's about integration, it's about adding more logic on top of that integration, and quite frankly, there is a lot of room for errors and mistakes, which should be fixed, and that's the thing.
Something else we're discussing is we're talking with a lot of people about insider threat and insider risk, and a lot of things CISOs struggle with is finding that right balance between overly aggressive and privacy intrusive insider threats and risk programs, and also, you know, the burden of CISOs and companies to protect their data and protect their processes. You know, how does one find a great balance with that? You know, do you have any tips?
I think no one likes to talk about insider threat. or I'd say the other way around. Everyone likes to talk about it. No one really likes to do anything about it because the state of mind that that person next to me, that woman that brings cookies to everyone, is actually a threat, that's not healthy for us as human beings. So we're trying to avoid the thought. And then, of course, as you mentioned, whatever steps that we take, whatever countermeasures that we take, are eventually invasive to privacy and to work relationships. So if there's an alert coming up from the system saying that person might try to attack you and he's an insider, you are going to accuse a colleague. And if it turns out to be a false alert, which, let me tell you a secret, security products do have those in huge quantities, then you can imagine what kind of detrimental effect that would have on your workplace. So I think that with respect to internal threat, that whole concept of detection that we are seeing with external threats is not necessarily the right way. I think that when you're talking about internal threats, the more you put countermeasures in place, the more you do with privilege management, the more you do with actual access control, the more you do with preventative measures. We just tell the person, you can either do that or you cannot. Not pointing a finger saying, hey, this might be an attack, but saying either this is allowed or not allowed are the right way to go, even if you need to take some extra risk. Because using the detection mechanisms that at the end of the day require that you go and accuse, but there's no other word, accuse your colleague is probably not the right way.
Absolutely. Kind of implementing guardrails that kind of educate people in how the right way to do things are and encourage them into the right path. And then, like you say, when people do the thing that is wrong, the contrast is much starker. It's not a detection, it's an actual tangible choice.
Exactly.
You can see.
Exactly.
It's creating you're creating a safe environment for your users as well, because 99% of your people don't want to do the wrong thing, but a lot of the times they don't know what the right thing is. So being able to help them to understand.
Yeah, sometimes we in the security industry think that everyone is thinking security all the time.
Exactly.
Most people don't.
No.
Yeah.
No. People are thinking, how do I do my job? How do I pay my bills? How do I, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we walk out of here, we don't think, how do we not get shot today? So that's the same with cybersecurity for normal people, which are not CISOs.
Exactly. It's really interesting. Final question, and it's a bit of an either-or one, and it's quite fun. Which do you think is worse and why? Data breaches or data leaks? Or is there any difference at all?
I think data breaches are worse. Yeah. Because you cannot control the consequence. With data leakage, you can sort of know what happened. You can know what happened with the data that was leaked. With the data breach, it can go back and hunt you in ways that you didn't think of. Because there is someone behind it, and there is some planning behind it. And so I think a data breach is worse.
That's great. Amichai, thank you so much for your time. It's been a genuine pleasure to chat to you, and I wish NoKod Security all the best for the rest of the show.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, Chris.
Pleasure chatting.